The academy hall was calm, too calm. The lights were soft and white. The air was cool and still. Long rows of seats were filled with cadets from many worlds. Tall ones, short ones, scaled ones, soft-skinned ones. They came from powerful species, warrior cultures, and ancient empires. And none of them were interested. This class was called Earth Studies. It was known as an easy lesson, a class taken only because it was required. Most cadets believed Earth was a weak world, a place of storms, disease, and fragile bodies. Humans survived by luck, not strength, by hiding, not fighting. That was what they were taught. At the front of the hall, a senior instructor spoke in a slow, tired voice. His skin was pale blue, his eyes never fully opened. "Earth gravity is unstable," he said. "Higher than average, but inconsistent. Human bodies evolved poorly, short lifespans, weak frames." Some cadets clicked their mandibles in amusement. Others whispered jokes. A few laughed quietly. No one corrected the instructor. No one ever did. Near the middle row sat a single human cadet, Lieutenant Mara Hale. She sat straight, hands folded, eyes forward. She did not laugh. She did not react. Humans had learned long ago that speaking only made things worse. The instructor continued talking. Earth's weather, Earth's animals, Earth's failures. Behind the class, mounted high on the wall, a multi-spectrum combat scanner hummed quietly. It was old but powerful. The scanner could read energy spikes, weapon charges, and biological stress. It was installed after a past incident, standard safety. It never reacted during lessons. Never. Until today. At first, the sound was barely noticeable, a soft chirp. Mara felt it before she heard it, a strange pressure in her chest. Then the sound came again, louder. A few cadets turned their heads. The lights shifted from green to yellow. The instructor paused, annoyed. "Ignore it," he said. "Probably a system error." Then the scanner screamed. A sharp, violent sound ripped through the hall. Red lights flashed. Numbers raced across the display faster than anyone could read. Energy levels climbed past warning limits, then past danger limits. The instructor stopped speaking. His mouth stayed open, but no sound came out. Every cadet stared at the screen. The scanner showed plasma energy buildup, live combat levels. Impossible inside a classroom. "There is no enemy," one cadet whispered. "No weapons," another said. Security alarms had not activated. Shields were still down. Then something moved near the ceiling. A training drone drifted out of its holding rail. Its core glowed bright white. Too bright. The scanner screamed louder. The drone shook. Its stabilizers failed. Someone yelled. The instructor shouted for emergency shutdown. Too late. The drone's core cracked. A single plasma bolt fired free. It crossed the room like a line of burning light, straight toward the human. Time slowed. Alien cadets froze. Some screamed. Some ducked. Some could not move at all. Mara stood up. Not fast, not slow. She stepped forward into the open space. She raised her arm, and the plasma bolt closed in. The plasma bolt crossed the room in less than a second. It was a line of white fire, hot enough to melt armor, fast enough to kill before pain could exist. Alien cadets screamed. Some jumped from their seats. Some dove under desks. Some froze in place, eyes wide with fear. The instructor shouted, his voice breaking. "Emergency shields, now!" Nothing happened. The system did not respond. The plasma bolt kept moving, straight toward Mara. She did not run. She did not turn away. She planted her feet on the floor. The heat hit her first. Her skin burned, her muscles tightened, her bones vibrated. Mara raised her arm higher. Then the plasma struck. Light exploded through the hall. White, blue, gold. The air bent and twisted. Heat washed over the room like a storm. Several cadets screamed again, shielding their eyes. Others collapsed to the floor. The sound was deafening. Then, silence. The light faded. Smoke drifted through the air. The smell of burned metal filled the hall. Slowly, shapes became clear again. Mara was still standing. She stood in the same place. Her arm was still raised. Her sleeve was gone, burned into ash. Thin lines of smoke rose from her skin, but she had not fallen. She had not screamed. She had not even moved back. The scanner screamed louder than ever. Its alarms overlapped, confused and frantic. Red symbols filled the screen. Data streams rewrote themselves. Human resistance values climbed, then broke past known limits, then changed again. The system tried to classify her condition. It failed. Medical alarms activated, then shut down, then activated again. The scanner could not understand what it was seeing. The instructor stumbled backward. "That's impossible," he whispered. Plasma at that range should have destroyed bone, should have boiled blood, should have ended life in a blink. But the human still breathed. Mara slowly lowered her arm. Her hand shook slightly, not from fear, from effort. Her breathing was deep, controlled, steady. In, out, in, out. She looked down at her arm. The skin was red and burned, but not gone. Her muscles tightened and relaxed on their own, as if learning, as if remembering. Around her, the hall was silent. No one spoke. No one moved. Even the cadets hiding under desks stared at her. Some aliens felt fear for the first time in years. Not fear of death, fear of misunderstanding. They had believed humans were weak. That belief shattered. The scanner display showed something new. A warning message flashed. Adaptive biological response detected. The words meant nothing to the instructor, but they felt heavy. Mara finally lowered her arm completely. She exhaled slowly. Her legs felt heavy now. Pain arrived late, but she remained standing. She looked around the hall. Dozens of eyes stared back at her, wide, silent, uncertain. In that moment, something changed. The lesson was over, and the academy would never forget what it had seen.
The classroom doors slammed open. Security teams rushed in. Their armor was dark and heavy. Their weapons were raised and ready. Targeting lights moved across the room, searching for a threat that did not exist. "Stand down!" the instructor shouted. The guards stopped, confused. They saw broken desks, burn marks on the walls, smoke in the air, and a single human standing at the center of it all. Medics entered next. They moved quickly, then slowed. They surrounded Mara, forming a careful circle. One medic raised a scanner toward her arm, then paused. No one wanted to be the first to touch her. Mara stayed still. Her face was calm. Her breathing remained steady. The main screen at the front of the hall lit up. The scanner data began to replay, frame by frame, slow, clear. The plasma bolt struck her arm. Energy flooded into her body. The system paused the image. The instructor leaned closer. "Plasma at this level should vaporize bone," he said. "There should be nothing left." The replay continued. Instead of destroying her arm, the energy spread. It flowed through her muscles, along her nerves, across her skeletal structure. The system showed heat being redirected, pressure being absorbed, damage being reduced in real time. Numbers changed as the data updated itself. The scanner displayed a label, "Adaptive Response Confirmed." A low sound moved through the room. Fear, confusion, disbelief. The instructor turned toward Mara. His voice was sharp now. "What did you do?" he demanded. Mara looked at him. She did not raise her voice. She did not show anger. She spoke calmly. "We train for this." The instructor frowned. "For plasma weapons?" he asked. "For survival," Mara replied. She explained in simple words, Earth gravity drills that broke bones and rebuilt them stronger, cold and heat exposure that pushed the body past limits, pain tolerance training, stress training, fear training. Humans did not avoid danger. They studied it. They stepped into it. They learned from it. Our bodies change, not fast, but fast enough. The room felt colder. Several alien cadets shifted in their seats. Some swallowed. Some looked away. The scanner continued showing data. Muscle density increasing, nerve pathways strengthening, energy dispersion improving. Not technology, biology. The instructor stepped back slowly. "This is not possible," he said. "It is," Mara replied. "On Earth." The medics finally moved closer. One touched her arm gently. Mara did not react. The medic's scanner beeped in confusion. "No internal collapse. Healing has already started." Silence returned, a heavy silence. Several cadets now understood what they had ignored for years. Humans were not weak. They were unfinished. They were shaped by pressure, built by pain. Every harsh world made them stronger. The scanner ended its replay. The final message remained on the screen. Human biology, classification, incomplete. The instructor stared at those words. The lesson had failed, but the truth had arrived, and the Academy would never see humans the same way again.
Part 4. The Academy's Fear. The Academy Council Chamber was silent. A wide, circular room. High walls covered in glowing symbols of old alliances. At the center, a large screen played the footage again. The plasma bolt, the human, the impact, Mara standing. Again and again. No one spoke. The scanner log scrolled beside the video. Energy absorption, adaptive muscle response, biological reinforcement, all confirmed, undeniable. A senior council member finally broke the silence. "This should not be possible," she said. Another council member leaned forward. "No known species adapts during impact. Adaptation takes generations, not seconds." The footage played again. The numbers did not change. Human biology had rewritten itself mid-strike, something no other species could do. Fear entered the room. Not loud fear, quiet fear, dangerous fear. One council member stood. "If humans can adapt to weapons," he said, "then they are a threat." Another replied immediately. "They are not a threat. They were ignored." Voices rose. Arguments filled the chamber. Some demanded restrictions. Some demanded removal of humans from combat programs. Others argued the Academy had underestimated Earth for too long. Screens lit up with proposals, restricted training access, separate classrooms, constant medical scans, weapon limitations, increased monitoring of every human cadet. Not punishment, control. The doors opened. Mara was escorted in. No armor, no weapons, just her Academy uniform. She stood alone at the center of the chamber, surrounded by power. The council studied her, some with fear, some with curiosity, some with regret. The council leader said, "You will explain." Mara nodded once. She did not defend herself. She did not raise her voice. She spoke simply. "Earth is not safe," she said. "It never was." Images appeared behind her. Storms, quakes, extreme gravity zones, harsh training fields. "We train for survival, not for comfort, Mara continued. Earth drills, how pain was expected, how failure meant death, how humans learned by being pushed. Our bodies remember, she said. They change because they must. A council member asked, "So you are weapons?" Mara shook her head. "No," she replied. "We are survivors." Silence followed. The council withdrew to vote. Minutes passed, then hours. Mara waited without moving. The doors opened again. The council leader spoke. "New rules will be enforced," she said. "Humans would be monitored. Training would change. The academy would adapt, not to protect itself from humans, but to understand them." The vote was complete. The academy had changed forever, and everyone in that chamber knew one thing. They would never underestimate Earth again.
Part 5. The Silence After the Lesson. The Earth lesson was never taught the same way again. The Academy updated the course files. The old recordings were removed. The jokes were deleted. The tone was changed. Earth was no longer listed as a weak world. Human cadets returned to class the next cycle. Nothing looked different, but everything felt different. When humans entered the hall, conversations stopped. Not from hate, not from anger, from respect. Aliens watched them closely now, quietly, carefully. Not as fragile beings, but as something still being understood. Mara Hale returned to training. She was cleared by medical teams. Her arm healed faster than expected. Scars remained. She did not hide them. Other human cadets noticed the change first. Seats around them stayed empty, not because they were avoided, because no one wanted to sit too close. Instructors spoke with more care. Words were chosen slowly. No one laughed during Earth lessons anymore. Behind the classroom, the scatter had been replaced. A newer model, more powerful, more sensitive, designed to detect threats earlier. It never screamed again. Not because danger disappeared, but because the Academy learned caution. During later exercises, alien cadets began to ask questions, real questions. How does Earth train children? How does the body survive that? Does it hurt? Human cadets answered honestly. Yes, always. That is the point. The Academy slowly adjusted. Training programs were rewritten. Some species asked to train with humans. Others chose to keep distance. Both choices were respected. The lesson had been learned. Mara was offered special placement, advanced programs, research roles, combat leadership. She refused most of them. She stayed with her unit. She trained. She adapted. She moved forward. One cycle later, a new group of cadets arrived. They sat in the same hall, under the same lights. The instructor paused before beginning the Earth lesson. He looked at the scanner, then at the human cadets, and then he spoke carefully. "Earth is not gentle," he said. "It does not forgive mistakes." The room was silent. "No species should confuse survival with weakness," the instructor continued. Some alien cadets nodded. Some swallowed. The lesson continued, without laughter, without mocking, only attention. Far from the Academy, council records were sealed. The footage was restricted, classified, not to hide fear, but to prevent panic. One final note was added to the Academy archive. Humans do not break under pressure. They adapt. And when they do, even plasma learns to fear them.